to our Week 6 coverage of the North American LCS Summer Split. We're heading right into our next game. That's LMQ versus Team Solo Mid.
And TSM have been on a real upswing. With the addition of Loco Doco, it seems like a lot of pressure has been taken off of Gleeb's shoulders specifically. It's allowed him to just focus on playing his game, and it's definitely paying off for TSM. He's been landing way more hooks. Sometimes the hooks that are landing for him are not even the ones that he's aiming for, and they just happen to go on the AD carry. It's just so fortunate for him.
Yep.
Also, his partner in the bottom lane, WildTurtle, has been playing very well. He's shown a huge improvement. He still plays very aggressively. However, now he's been avoiding all these skill shots that were taking him down a few weeks ago. Yeah. And his numbers over the past 5 games are just astonishing. One of the biggest changes has to be Bjergsen, who also in recent weeks has stepped up as a leader for the team, and he's a much bigger voice in the game.
Yeah.
You can hear it in those TSM communication that we play when we see the sounds of the game, like yesterday. And the Spring Split MVP calling shots for the team has definitely helped out for them.
Yeah, the resonating voice of the crowd, or the team, I should say. Well, both of these teams are tied for second place. That has to be remembered. LMQ is having a harder time in the recent weeks.
Yeah, they had such a commanding start, going 4-0 in their first week of the LCS, that everybody really hyped them up coming into this. But like in Europe, where a team could start hot and then cool off very quickly as other teams get time playing against them and learn about them. Yesterday, we saw Dignitas catching LMQ in an ill-advised jungle invade that cost LMQ a double kill. And not only that, but they also had a lot of trouble with that dragon control, which is definitely a very, very important game, part of the game now with the increased gold value.
Yeah, no joke there in 4.10. LMQ say to perform more consistently, they'll need to resist the temptation to throw out their carefully laid plans in Champ Select.
Last time we played LMQ, we had a lot of things to work on, specifically communication, especially in the early game 1v2s. They just really abused us there, and they got a lot of vision control and a lot of control over the map.
在比赛之中，就尤其是选人方面，我们就有时候经常会出现一些临时奇想，所以就没有把我们训练中的发挥出来。我觉得这是我们这几场输的主要的原因。今后的话，我们会特别注意这一点。
LMQ usually goes over aggressive, so if we can abuse them when they go for like deep wards or something like that, we can definitely get like free picks and then go for objectives from there.
比尔森呢，通常都是会在就线上就已经打出就非常好、非常大的优势。
XiaoWeiXiao is actually one of my favorite players to play against. He's a really humble, really nice guy, and he's just a really good player. I prefer playing against more of like aggressive laners like he is. We're kind of like 2 aggressive players that kind of like bump into each other and play really aggressive in lane. It usually ends up being killer. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun to play.
I think this mid lane matchup is going to be aggressive.
If XiaoWeiXiao and Bjergsen bumped into each other, who do you think would have the advantage?
Whoever was more aggressive. All right, let's check out the starting lineups on the blue side. It is LMQ, in the top lane is Ackerman, NoName in the jungle. Xiao in the mid lane, about to bump in Bjergsen. Vasilii at AD, and more in support.
And on the red side, it's TSM. Up top, Dyrus. In the jungle, amazing. Mid, Bjergsen, AD carry WildTurtle, and supporting is Gleeb.
And this, actually, it's one of my favorite things about these matchups as well, is there's the confidence that comes through the players. It's kind of like confidence they have in solo queue, where they're just kind of YOLO out, and they'll go really hard in the beginning of the game. Just like when Bjergsen cut Loco Doco's hair. He went real hard just on the level 1. But XiaoWeiXiao is known to go pretty strong. But Bjergsen, I remember when he used to go up against Hai, he came over here, he said, these guys in NA will just kind of like ignite you and start attacking you when you get into lane. And he kind of took that under his own wing, and then he started playing even more aggressive when he got to the North American scene.
Yeah, confidence was definitely something that wasn't there for TSM at the beginning of this split. With all the shakeups and the slow start, they definitely were having trouble in that area. But ever since, they've sort of regrouped. They brought in Loco Doco. They stopped going on social media and looking so much at the criticism that was being directed at them. And it's really helped them out a lot. They focus on themselves. They've turned their eyes inward, looking for improvements. And it's definitely paid off for them. Everybody improving on their own, and Dyrus has remained consistent for them in the top lane.
Yeah.
Rock that they can always count on.
He's chilling. He's getting ready.
Yeah. Arms behind his head. He's always ready.
All the games, if you watch recently, he's just been consistent in the way of the fact that he doesn't die. He's pushing his lane with a CS lead, and he's always able to get out. Remember back in the days when he played Xian, how many times was he actually caught? He'd do some slippery taunt and get out of it alive, and he's still doing it on champions today. He just had to work on the teleport last season, and it was all clean.
Meanwhile, I have also been impressed by his lane opponent for this game, Ackerman, or Godlike formerly. He has really found a way, especially in the 2v1 switches. He always finds a way to get experience that you don't expect him to get. He's able to find gold in areas of the map that are very, very smart and tricky ways. So he has been a real boon for this team when they do those lane swaps. However, in recent games, like TSM mentioned in that video, LMQ have been going for a little bit dangerous moves early on in the game. Real deep wards is how Dignitas punished LMQ when they were going for a very deep two-man invade into the jungle very early on. TSM looking to do the same thing here, but LMQ says they will not repeat mistakes. So they can actually do that.
The other big mistake is, the comfort they feel coming into Champion Select. We saw one of them saying, we won't throw out our well-laid plans and pick a Pantheon and try to do something else. They realized that didn't work. So coming out, they still got the rough edges to round out there, thinking they may have been a little stronger, but they're still a very strong team. That's why they sit in the standings where they are. We'll see Braum, Syndra getting locked out, Kale as well. Figured that to be on.
Yeah, purple sidebands of Cassidy and Kale are very standard nowadays. Nobody wants to give up those champions, especially Kale, to this LMQ team. Now the opportunity, though, do you ban out Lee Sin, or do you ban out something like Lulu, so that you deny another one of those utility top laners that Ackerman has really been a big, big proponent of?
I feel like the Yasuo maybe played today, Kobe.
Yasuo is always great with XiaoWeiXiao in the game. Even Bjergsen has also been fairly strong on that champion. So they go with the Lulu. I mean, the Lee Sin ban and then Lulu pick there. Pretty sure they calculated that was what they were going to be giving away. They don't want to give away sort of the S-tier jungler. And in favor, they just give up one of the utility top laners. But LMQ will happily pick it up, as we expected.
TSM has not been afraid to do the AD support, or a top support in this pick right here. No ADs actually focused out within the bans, so this would be quite a good pick on either side to come in. We've seen WildTurtle picking up a few different things lately. A lot of that Corki, but not as of 4.10. That was the Lucian.
Yeah, all AD carries being up this time around. How much emphasis do you really want to put onto that Lucian? Well, looks like a lot.
Looks like they will lock those in. Glebe is going to be on his thrash. We saw what he was doing the other day, locking people out, hooking them up. Doesn't matter if he's on Nami or Thresh. He's actually had really great play lately, and so he goes out and actually switches over to Nami before he locks in.
I like this right now just because the sustained supports, I don't know, it's very, very frustrating for a team to 2v2 a Lucian Nami lane as pretty much anybody, even if you have your pick of the litter. Like, there's no other AD carry bans and only one support ban here, but even so, facing Lucian Nami right now is not something that anybody wants to do.
We just had it from Sneaky Lemonation.
And it showed up really big for them.
Looking at the picks now, this is actually going a little slower than expected, but the Eve is getting quite a bit of playtime here in the last few days, with the jungle being focused. She's kind of that one that people are picking up.
And I like this combo, since they already have Lulu for the ultimate knockup.
The pop.
Evelyn can sneak in there into a team fight very quickly, using the invisibility to flank and then W speed burst, so they can get into position for one of those knockups to help out XiaoWeiXiao. And even if they don't get that, late game Yasuo can charge up his own knockups very quickly, because everybody is going these heavy attack speed builds on him now. So they do end up going with the exciting pick here for that mid lane.
Man, last season you'd be like, cool, Bjergsen picked Gragas.
But this season you'd say, oh, cool, Dyrus picked Gragas.
Dyrus picked Gragas. Yeah, they're going to see that going to the top lane. And it may just be Thresh for more. Vasilii has his choice of really where to go here. We saw a few different AD carries yesterday. Let's see what he decides to go with.
Yeah, well, looks like the Jarvan pickup here for second tier.
Right, you can see how that's dwindling the choices.
I'm very interested to see how Amazing can actually perform on that champion, because last time it was less than impressive. And Jarvan now, after the width of his flag and drag combo was reduced, takes a lot more accuracy. It's very difficult to pull off against these mobile champions. Lulu, Evelyn, Yasuo, the things that he was picking that Jarvan into, all with their own increased mobility.
Yeah.
Very hard to land those knuck-ups on any of those champions.
Vasilii locks in the Trist. That's actually really good safety from a Jarvan. So you can knock him back, you can jump out if you get the jump in time.
Yeah, you got multiple options
Yeah.
here as Tristana. Very good reactive pick from LMQ. Plus, there's so many options for the early game here. We've seen Static Shiv Rush
Oh yeah,
for
yeah, that's
clearing
right.
minions. You
yeah,
know,
like
Infinity Edge
three
rushes,
Trists.
Blade of the Ruin King rushes.
Yeah.
She's just a really strong champion very late into the game because range is paramount.
Yeah, variety.
But even early in the game, as we've seen, early lane phase isn't that bad for her. Really, we'll have to see how LMQ do with that mid game though, because that's been the crucial time where a lot of these Tristana teams have been getting hit hard. All the teams trying to take advantage of that weak mid.
Bjergsen counter with Annie.
That's pretty much the only mid that I play nowadays. That's what I would do. Actually, probably talking about legitimate ideas on the subject of Yasuo counters.
Yeah.
Probably loves the Annie to Yasuo. Not going to be the case, though. Safer here, going with Orianna. Definitely can do her work versus XiaoWeiXiao in the mid lane, and we'll see how they do match up against each other. Yasuo definitely more aggressive, has to be further up in the lane. He's got the support of an Evelyn, though, so he should feel satisfied in that matchup.
Yep. We'll have to see. This is Bjergsen's first time on Orianna for the NA LCS Summer Split, so we'll see if he can get the command control down. He is the command shot caller for the team, so hopefully those two don't clash, because he'll be clashing with XiaoWeiXiao in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think this pick is really also about comboing with Jarvan, because really before, it was looking dicey for Jarvan to jump into this team. When he does have the backup of an Orianna, though, much more confidence for Amazing to jump right in there.
It'll be interesting how they do the Cataclysm cask open up. Because you Cataclysm and pop somebody out. It could be some chaos. Let's see how you guys are calling this game. According to LOLesports.com, 63% of you are saying Team Solo Mid are going to come out on top. But keep the voting on Twitter coming by sending LMQ win or TSM win to @LOLesports. Be sure to use those little hashtag markers. We'll be checking back with your predictions throughout the game. The chant's already coming out, and you know what acronym it is.
Everybody's cracking up, too. You can see even LMQ. Pretty much every league player cracking up.
I love that when we went to London as well, you got some of the teams like SK, they're like TS.
It's the most recognizable chant for League of Legends, regardless of what team you're a fan of.
Yep.
Everybody uses it.
That's what happens, man. They inflicted Bay life on quite a few people.
They did.
That laid back, relaxed type of lifestyle, even when they were in New York. Bay life.
When they left the Bay.
Well, they're back. They're on the Rift, and they're in-game versus LMQ. This is going to be our next matchup of the day. Let's see who's got what it takes to bring down the Nexus first. Last game, these two teams played. TSM was defeated. LMQ took the victory from red side. TSM's going to be on that side this time.
Keep an eye on this early game, especially for NoName on that Evelyn. See how, if he gets off to a good jungle start, that'll be exactly what LMQ need. And since neither team has started Sweeper, it might be easier for him to do that. Play a little safer. LMQ, though, one of the teams that almost always comes out with something planned for this level 1. Rarely do they go defensive. They're almost always grouped up as 5, looking to get extra information. TSM playing reactively. Defensive spread into a blue side invade to counter what LMQ are putting down. Glebe does get his trinket ward off just in time. Looking for that lane matchup. Interesting.
Both sides, yeah. Didn't see it. Nicely placed. Looks like it only took a week or so for those wards to be perfectly placed by each team.
Yeah, the spot is pretty thin where the other team won't be able to see you place it. To try and get it in there, but still get vision. Both teams do it successfully. And they got, I think they got vision of Nami there. Red ping goes down on that Nami. So LMQ get to make their choice. Go for that lane swap.
Oh.
They do
Tangoing up here.
feel like they need it.
Wow, 86 to 14 as they start off on this. Wow. It's Pretty good vote. And also, this is
Standard
going to be
lanes.
neat. Ackerman versus Dyrus in the top lane. This is the first time since 4.10 we've kind of gotten those APs against each other on the top. Usually we still get one of the tanks we've been seeing since 4.9. So that'll be an interesting matchup if we get it. And it's going to be face-to-face.
Have to back
2v2s. Uh-oh. See, in level 1, whoever starts hitting first usually has the upper hand.
Whoever has Glitter Lance, AoE damage, AoE slow, big upper hand there for LMQ.
Eight
The
spikes to
Ackerman
the rear,
just
too.
charges right through that bush as well. No fear. So a slight edge to LMQ as NoName does get a slightly better start to his jungle. Little bit of a delay there for Amazing. Let's see if NoName can actually snowball this. Evelynn is one of the best junglers at snowballing early leads because she can go for invades and know that she is not seen by the other team early on, because nobody has the money to get a pink ward this early on in the game. And if Evelynn finds you when you're level 3 around a camp, using your spells trying to take down the camp, she will destroy you from the backside.
Bad news bears. Right now it's going to be red for NoName. Keeping it safe.
Smart thing there too,
Keeping it
he
out.
lines up the minions so his Q
yeah.
hits both babies as well as the main red camp. It's a little bit tricky, just takes a little while to get used to. Drawing out the camp. Amazing will be that one camp behind, and we'll see if level 3 Evelynn can take advantage here. He's looking for it. That just gets a defensive ward down.
It is great to find all those little things, especially for a jungler, that'll kind of cut.
That one actually
seconds.
saves you a lot of time.
Cut time off
if you can get
every
the tool to
camp,
hit
then
everything.
boom, you can do it with go to Wraiths, go to Wolves, line them up. Thanks, Kobe.
No problem, Riv.
Top lane, Ackerman. Actually, Dyrus out of mana here. Seems like he wants to buy right away and get himself teleported back to lane. We'll see what he comes back with. Just another ring, keeps sustained up.
And Gragas, he has a pretty good time against bruisers, but Lulu is very annoying to lane against for pretty much anybody who's melee, even if you are this Gragas with a lot of sustain and a lot of mobility. It's not like it's going to be terrible for Dyrus, but let's just say it's annoying. It's the word that a lot of the top laners are using for Lulu up there.
Well, at least it's not KO. Been banned out
Oh,
quite a
Hook
few
Land!
games more, coming out very nicely. Explosive
Hook
shot
Land.
hitting. Very good damage to start it off on WildTurtle in the bottom lane. Just talked him up about skill
There's
shots.
a lot of groans from the crowd, but a backwards flay is one of the hardest things to land in the game.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, every support should be well versed in Thresh play by now. Thresh has been the top support, or one of the top supports, for a very long time. XiaoWeiXiao only missing one of those. Definitely has a pretty good advantage by shoving the wave. We'll see how many CS Bjergsen can pick up, though, because the wave is so big that he can actually be ahead in CS if he gets them all.
And that was LMQ's first chance to make kind of a move. You can see Gleeb has now placed the ward down, not thinking the bush control was all that prioritized, or put his first priority on, but now it is. Great damage trade there coming in from Vasilii.
Now Tristana, everyone is very well aware of her inherent pushing power just because of explosive shot, but explosive shot also does a good amount of damage in those trades.
Oh no!
Oh, those CS do matter.
The dose miss.
This is a whole wave here. Turtle, once again, he's in the same position as Bjergsen where, yeah, he's pushed into the turret, but he can actually come out ahead on CS because so many CS were lost in pushing for LMQ there. He barely scrapes out a little lead. And here's the invade from NoName. After he goes back and picks up some extra wards.
There's the flay. That's what they were looking for. The hardest thing to do is dodge a skill shot when you put yourself next to a wall. WildTurtle finds that out, and he's down below 100 HP.
Can happen to anybody here. It's very difficult to consistently dodge skill shots.
Yep.
That's why people are so amazed by the players like FLICKR that have been able to perfect their skill shot dodging.
We'll see what Vasilii plays this. They're not
Turtle
pushing it too
has
fast.
Heal only. You also have to watch out for the Nami because
Gleeb has the ward.
Exhaust and Nami heal is.
Oh my God!
Good
The ring
maneuver
around
there.
the
No,
Rosie.
man.
The pink ward's just above, giving NoName the knowledge to keep safe.
Yeah, but all this knowledge that NoName has gained, Amazing was just hard farming the jungle. So Amazing has got a level advantage over NoName with those extra creeps taken out.
Let's see if they can make it back. He's actually still spending quite a bit of time down in the bottom lane. NoName will kind of provide extra effort. towards a gank. You can see Bjergsen, knowing the flow is not up, trying to get some clockwork wind-up shots on with auto attacks, but just ball movement. Good play in the mid lane, 53 to 49, still close.
And that Avarice Blade picked up by Xiao early for the stack. Whoa, flash play!
Very tough to hit, a relentless pursuit. WildTurtle knew if he put himself in the minions, he'd be a lot safer. Summoner healed down on that one, though. You got a flash out of more as well.
Good attempt. They had NoName there for the follow-up damage if the CC lands. Turtle barely escaping with his life, and neither top laner having, or bottom laner having to go back for their purchases yet. Up in that top lane, Ackerman going with the mana regen early.
Yep. We'll see what the buys are. Vasilii, Blade of the Rune King to start. We see Bjergsen obviously going against Yasuo, tier for himself, and the Scrying Orb quite early.
Yeah, and I like that move, getting the tier instead of the Chalice.
Yeah.
Not only is he not going against the magic damage dealing mid laner, but also with the nerf to the Athenes, which doesn't feel as strong as before. So he's going to go tier instead, pick up a cloth armor.
You're also kind of looking at a late game anyways, right? Vasilii is going to be farming all day, so LMQ is kind of focused on late game. You have time to charge up if you're Bjergsen with a tier.
Yeah, not a lot of magic damage from LMQ. Ackerman will have a substantial amount, but not overwhelming.
Yeah.
See how they can actually play around that. Now, also, with that Avarice Blade pickup, Xiao, known for constantly farming those Wraith camps, even though the little Wraiths only give 4 gold themselves, you get that bonus gold no matter what with that pickup early for him. And into Zerker Greaves, because there isn't a lot of CC that Tenacity will help him with, he's actually decided to get that attack speed, which is really important for Yasuo, as he scales so much better with attack speed.
Junglers are on the bottom side of the map here, Kobe. Looks like we may see something for Dragon soon. Standard lanes obviously slow that down a little bit, but I don't put it past LMQ or TSM to force that one out. Everybody's got 6s that really need it right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that there was no mid-game action with the second spawn of buffs.
Yeah.
Nobody went for repeat steals here, even though LMQ do have good pink ward coverage of the river, and they have Evelyn with the ability to do that. LMQ just really, they don't want to make those early game mistakes. They got caught out by Dig last time they tried to make early moves in the jungle. So they're not making that mistake this time. Go with a safe play here. Don't fall off that gank bottom lane, though. Way more active.
Right in the Cataclysm. That's exactly why they wanted it and didn't go for Vasilii, because of his jump.
So mid lane gank only gets a flash. Bottom lane gank securing the kill here. First blood does go to Amazing. They'd rather have it on Turtle, but Amazing will be just fine because he likes to play more carry-oriented style junglers anyway. So he will be a lot more beefy. He's going with that Golem Spirit, by the way.
See that again.
So he is going to be able to jump into the next fight
Flash.
as well. Yeah, so they probably communicated that they had already burned the Flash of more, and they were like, yeah, come down here. It's pretty much a guaranteed kill. If you take out the Flash of a support, and the support's not even level 6 to throw up a box, then there's pretty much
easy peas,
guaranteed kill right there if you can Flash Cataclysm.
So TSM working off every advantage they can find throughout these lanes. It looks like they may be able to set up for Dragon on this. Glebe, but not in the right spot. The teleport coming
Amazing's recalling.
This is godlike. Oh my gosh. What a kill coming out.
It was good to go through with that recall, but it just kind of looked sad for Glebe. Everyone was like, sorry, Glebe, you're going down. I'll watch you die on the way out. But that's going to be Dragon as well for LMQ. One pick in the river.
Wow.
The patience for LMQ actually does pay off. You know, NoName had gone laying down vision instead of trying to go for risky invades. And they get the kill here. Flash early here. Can he land the Q?
Oh, wow. Bjergsen's not going to have a ton of just impact damage. He's leveling the Q for laning against XiaoWeiXiao, so the dissonance wasn't there to explode HP bars. Dyrus is pushed out as well. And somehow, after killing more, they lose Dragon and a few members.
LMQ controlling the river. Very, very good job by them. They sort of toned back their early game aggression. Before, they always had their sights set on, at the beginning of the game, we're going to control the entire jungle. Both sides, entire map. Now, they've sort of toned it back. Okay, we are only going to work on really controlling this jungle.
Oh my gosh,
or the
amazing!
river.
Going from lane to lane, blowing some flashes, striking fear in the eyes of LMQ. Hopefully putting TSM back on track.
Yeah. Flash 4 Cataclysm, always worth it for the Jarvan team there. Much lower cooldown, so Amazing gets another one. But it only really matters if they can actually return and make something happen there. Gragas is great at setting up ganks, though, as you did see with his ultimate.
LMQ, knowing they have the favor in the river, go ahead and clear out any wards that they think are giving them a little bit of trouble. Pressure to the bottom lane, possibly get this turret, get this Lucian.
Yeah, the Lucian who is going for Blade of the Ruin King build. So Blade of the Ruin King build on Lucian, very smooth early build path. Whenever you go back, no matter when you get forced back, you can pick up something that will add combat effectiveness. You can get a longsword, you can get these attack speed daggers. There's all these little pieces in this Rune King Ghost Blade build that make you feel good about building this way, just because if you are under pressure, no matter what time you get forced back, you will have a substantial buy.
Yeah. And the fact that WildTurtle's going for the same build almost helps Vasilii in this manner as well. He's not facing a BF sword to the face. We saw what happened to Altec's Twitch when he tried to do that. So, kind of equaling out there, 111 to 108. Not too hard for either AD carry as we keep an eye on that lane. Still watching these top laners now as the blue buff gets a little love from TSM on the side of LMQ. That Dyrus versus Ackerman matchup, 119 to 102. So the APs going at each other pretty evenly.
Not only did they steal the blue buff, but they also drew Ackerman away from a minion wave that was at the turret.
Yeah,
so Ackerman stood around to just watch this blue buff be taken and then clear it out, but he lost out on a lot of minions up at that top turret.
Good movement by TSM, creating a bit of indecisiveness for LMQ. The wall is nicely placed. XiaoWeiXiao with the flow shield, and they get the hits along
Did he get
with the
global
minions.
gold right before he got zoomed out
That's
there?
a good question.
I think he still got it.
I think he would have.
The range is pretty short, though. You have to be careful because the range is pretty short. If you go too far away, you won't collect it. Pretty sure he was still in range for that one. And they go to answer the blue buff steal. Whoa, did Amazing get it with the spike? Flag, yeah. Amazing with the flag secure
That's why Lawn
on
Darts
his
are illegal,
blue
man.
buff. It's level 2 flag, so it's not just level 1, but still ridiculously impressive there.
Almost missing that time. WildTurtle says, I was next to the wall last time. Let's walk towards the middle of the lane. Saves himself a bit of damage. 2 turrets are now for LMQ. So with the kills and flashes, TSM has been able to kind of pop around the map. LMQ is always making a move off of that when they see Amazing somewhere. They've been getting turrets and dragons.
Yeah, really the only story that LMQ are not controlling the map is up in this top lane. That's the only area they've kind of conceded to TSM. So Dyrus, it's kind of up to Dyrus to make an impact on this game. We'll see what he can do with this Gragas, bringing so much utility. His teleport is up. Everything is pretty much available for him, and he just went to purchase his Athene, so he's got a lot more power for him if he does decide to join the rest of TSM and
Also,
make use of this advantage.
That consistency of Dyrus we were talking about a little bit before still keeps it true. Nobody's going to really give him too much hell in the top lane, but Amazing is going to provide that. Uh-oh. He's going to go ward. Does he want to? Oh! Throws it down immediately. Look at the damage he's able to provide, though. Even going with the Golem Spirit, the HP to keep himself safe, just running Ackerman right out of lane.
Yeah, he only went early on this gank because Ackerman came to check that bush.
Right.
If Ackerman had not forced Amazing to go early by checking this bush, then he would have died because Dyrus was almost there. Amazing was trying to wait for Dyrus to get in position, but his hand was forced there, and they do not pick up the kill.
See, LMQ has a good push on pretty much all of their lanes right now, so they can afford to send NoName and more top. They don't lose anything out of positioning the majority of members top lane. Gleeb doing what he can to clear out this dragon. 1 minute. It's coming up.
And it was, in theory, a very good choice by Amazing to go for that. Try and return before flashes back up from Ackerman.
That's true. A little repeat visit.
But not able to pull it off because he is going that full tank Jarvan this time around. Not spending money on offensive capabilities. He's just going straight up health to try and be the main tank for his team, since Dyrus is a semi-tank here, going mostly ability power build for Gragas, not going with that Rod of Ages into Iceborne that we saw earlier.
LMQ, thoughts of map control in mind. 3 pink wards in the inventory, a few for Team Solo mid, and 1 placed out. They got to keep eyes on NoName for sure. They got to be placing these wards in the exact
Good
spot.
timing here from TSM. They don't want to give up
Something
a dragon to
for sure.
LMQ. Teleport has been equalized though, even though Dyrus had the advantage earlier and had forced Ackerman to use his to return to lane.
Yeah.
The lower cooldown paid off, and Ackerman will have his answer available.
Wow. Ackerman actually getting a blue elixir in that lane up top.
Yeah, just in case they do have one of these crucial dragon fights.
Right.
I really like this adaptation, actually. I think more people should start doing this, is buying those elixirs for these early dragons, because the early and mid-game dragons have really what's been snowballing these games for so many teams. It's definitely worth it to get yourself 250 gold purchase there.
It looks like they actually got everything they want. Top laners are now both level 11 as the fight starts. They come down. NoName very low. The flash! The grievous wounds. That was not the damage to be going out. He gets himself out alive. We see Vasilii already going down. WildTurtle's into the fight now. Flying straight in. And it looks like he's going to be getting another kill. XiaoWeiXiao going down, but it's by the hands of Gleeb. Every member on TSM is bleeding almost right now, but they're still going.
Dyrus wants more here. That's it. All right, more walks away though. TSM though, Amazing's build pays off. He went full health. He was going all defensive stats this time around, and they initiated on him, and he survives it.
See that again.
Look at him. He gets hooked up. They use everything. Everybody jumping in on him. All the box goes down. He still has plenty of life. Even Ignite use. Yeah, that was heartbreaking for Dyrus there. Few HP away from getting a kill. But man, Vasilii! Wow, we talked about it so much, but this is the first time that we saw Vasilii really jumping too far forward in one of the team fights. It was talked up so much during the...
Vasilii's aggression.
Yeah,
Vasilii's
the Challenger
aggression.
League of Vasilii sometimes going a little bit too deep. This time we finally do see it there on Tristana. He does get exhausted and easily turned around by TSM.
That was a big fight. Very nicely played. Gold is just about even after that. Morello Namakan on Bjergsen. He's going to be helping to cut and shut down some members. Borg gets completely caught out. That ward just over the wall. TSM, they got the security system in the bot.
Well, you got the hook on the AD carry. I guess that's a good sign for your accuracy. We gotta watch out for the answer. TSM comes out way ahead.
Such a good just timing in the builds too for everybody coming in on TSM. WildTurtle gets a brutalizer, a little more damage into no armor even being built on the other side yet. So it's just working out, and power spikes for them. Very close here. LMQ tries to do a 4-man attack from the top side of mid. Looks like they're going to control with this, though. They may get some damage on the turret if TSM can't get back in time.
Their minion wave is lagging behind them, though,
right.
so they're going to have to zone off TSM from this mid turret. They're doing a good job right now corralling TSM in their blue side jungle. They've bought time for the minion wave to arrive.
This way.
And since Bjergsen used all his mana trying to get that blue buff, Bjergsen's not here, so this is basically a 3-man defense from TSM, and they can't pull it off.
NoName's just a beast running in the face of Dyrus and Amazing over and over. Turtle, huge wards here in the bottom lane as he makes the red buff eat culling. The bottom wave is going to be called down. LMQ is going to have to respond.
TSM get bottom turret, their own blue buff for Bjergsen, and the red buff from LMQ, all for that secondary mid lane turret. Pretty good exchange for them, especially considering that minion wave down bottom is pretty much going to waste for LMQ. Nobody gets to soak it up. It's a good job by TSM. The way that you keep LMQ from farming that lane is keeping up the pressure here in mid. They're forcing LMQ to keep all resources here to try and defend this turret so that nobody can go get that money.
Yeah, we just saw NoName check the red, but he did not see the pink wards that are pretty much all over the jungle. TSM can definitely go for a chase fight. A nice Agony's Embrace, but no wild growth to follow up. Nobody was in range. The passive shots coming out from WildTurtle, able to take down NoName. It looks like a little bit of miscommunication there.
Dyrus on the wrong side of that wind wall. Nobody can go in to help him, but they exchange. Kill off NoName.
They have to be careful. Shockwave is still up here. Gleeb used that ultimate last time. Bjergsen not looking to hit anything just yet. It's all about safety in this fight. They're trying to set up the D. They know if they lose this one, they will lose that turret as well.
WildTurtle going in again.
Ooh. Aw.
WildTurtle taking out his frustration on that wall. That is a crooked wall. It should not be blocking my culling, so he just fires every single shot.
See this again. A wild growth would have been perfect.
Well, nobody was in range. Look at the range for the rest of your team. A lot of people say, hey, where's my team? Come on, guys. You're initiating a little bit too far forward there. Dyrus, though, it was a good answer from LMQ to actually pick up the return kill. Good rebuttal, getting that Dyrus kill. Even though Bubble misses, Amazing hits his knockup, and Turtle is there to back up the CC with damage.
That's the Yobu was finished up for WildTurtle. He'll be putting out a few more of the culling shots, and it looks like we're going to get that static shiv most likely coming out of Vasilii. It's already on to XiaoWeiXiao, as would be. He's looking to finish up his Blade of the Rune King soon. And Bjergsen still charging the tier, piecing together a little bit of his armor and blasting one as he's looking for power throughout the game.
Early boot upgrade there from Bjergsen as well. Really valuing mobility.
A little bit of alacrity speed.
Wants to be able to work around this Yasuo. Dodging is very important for them because, as we said,
such a dance to be had in the mid.
Don't want to get locked up.
Ori.
Still working on his Zanya's as well. Looks like he's going to forego that until the late game. Try and upgrade his Seraph's Embrace first.
LMQ trying to put on some ward pressure. The pings are going down. It doesn't look like they're going to get too much information off of this. Pink ward still in the bottom lane if they ever need to go back to that. TSM is holding mid, though.
Yeah, what LMQ do have with XiaoWeiXiao is a very strong split pusher. Yasuo, one of the strongest split pushers in the game currently. Now that he's got his 2-item spike of the Static Shiv and Blade of the Rune King.
Whoa.
He goes for it, but the rest of the team.
Beautiful focus coming out of Team Solo mid. It's a one after the other engage. It's going to take WildTurtle's culling to finish it off. They do lose the top turret, but where is XiaoWeiXiao coming from? Quickly darting down from the top side. He knows it's only Wraiths now, as it looks like he's going to head back towards the turret, knowing there's real no engage.
Since there's no Static Shiv on Tristana yet, they don't have substantial wave clear, and NoName gets caught right there. If you do split push, it's up to the 4-man squad not to get caught out like that. And too bad for LMQ as NoName goes down under the turret. Dyrus was even starting to shove that bottom lane, but he joins the rest of the team as they now have the extra man on the field. Easily can chase LMQ off of this one. Careful.
Oh, hello. XiaoWeiXiao getting a little ahead of himself here. Yeah, he'll have the lantern to get out, but it seems like there's always a bit of distance that can't be made up by the rest of LMQ when somebody wants to initiate so far. Just a little back and forth. Looking at the lanes, it's actually quite even. About 20 CS if a lane does have a discrepancy, but the kills really giving TSM a 2,000 gold lead along with some of these dragons. We'll see that in 30 seconds. It doesn't look like anybody's really on point for that. Movement.
TSM also have more easier turrets available to them to take.
Right.
Since LMQ have taken more of these outer turrets, TSM actually still have an outer turret for them to take with that LMQ top lane. So they could even further increase that gold lead. Once they get Dragon off the table, they want to take away the objective that's on the bottom side of the map first, and then go up and claim that global globe of the top side. Right now, though, LMQ really have a good amount of vision control still around the river, around this dragon. TSM going to have to work to clear it out.
Good clears indeed. And we were saying a little bit before, Kobe, those elixirs coming out for a little advanced power in the fight. Looks like Bjergsen decides
to flank here
one.
for NoName.
Agony's Embrace to come down. He hits a nice one. The Wild Growth onto him. They finally get the Agony's Embrace. Wild Growth. There's the cast going down. Dragon's going to be smited out by Amazing. TSM coming out on top so far. They do lose the support. That's a bit of the sustain they're going to be looking for. Amazing Cataclysms the team. He's trying to help right now. Bjergsen on the outside. Ball over the wall. Trying to throw out the damage. Fires back. Vasilii gets a very nice shield. And the short hopscotch. He tries to go for a leapfrog, but trips over something there. And the rest of the team's going to clear out a 3-for-2. LMQ coming out on top of that. Uh-oh, Dyrus may not be able to get this. The flash, the ultimate coming in as well. Ackerman's going to lock down and secure the kill onto that. So overall, a 4-for-2. LMQ
it's
making
not
moves.
done yet here. Bjergsen's still working around the outside of 3 members of LMQ. He's got so much speed, though, with the boot upgrade as well as Dissonance. Ackerman's hot on his heels.
Your ball movement is under 2 seconds.
Oh.
Your ball is under 2 seconds. You can dance around people. This is completely an out skill if he can do it. And it looks like they are actually going to give up with that damage they just saw into Ackerman.
All right, we definitely need a replay of that one. Because at the beginning of this fight, I believe Dyrus ults in only Thresh to the team. They have to wait for the wind wall. Drag goes out for Amazing, so that's big. Yeah, he ults in Thresh, and the hook still lands onto Turtle. And Thresh wants to be that close to your damage anyway because he puts up a perfect box, which zones out Bjergsen for most of this fight. That's a lot of damage that TSM are missing when Bjergsen's not there. Vasilii once again going in. This time he doesn't pay for it, but does not know that Dyrus has his flash up, so short hop looks a little silly. However, after that, XiaoWeiXiao does a great job of using the dash of Yasuo to get over the wall going through white. That's a very hard dash to actually get off. You have to do it at an angle. Takes a lot of practice. And he was able to get through the wall without burning his flash, so he had the flash to actually gain the distance once he did get over the wall and get that kill onto Dyrus. Very strong Yasuo mechanics from XiaoWeiXiao.
In a very intense moment as well.
Yeah.
We saw...
Get one shot at that, or else it's too late.
And he gets out of this, actually draws 4 members of Team Solo Mid. They'll get the turret out of this, but they were also looking for a Yasuo. This should be good gold for them. They can get some ward control over onto Baron here. 28 minutes into the game. Dyrus keeping himself safe. Figured if Vasilei's jumping on me, there's probably somebody else around.
Showing up mid lane here. LMQ do have the split push going for them, as Turtle is trying to get some work done for TSM. There they go. Dragons off the field. They go up and get that top global gold. Secure an increased lead here. 3K for them. Can they stop the LMQ 5-man barrage, though? Turtle not in position.
Damn, those rockets just draining turret HP. That's going to be going down. We see those second-tier outer turrets a little too hard to secure if you're a little behind in the fight prowess area. Clearing it out, they still have that Orianna, they still have the culling and a Gragas once they get waves to the inhibitor turrets. So it still could be hard for LMQ to make it past that front line.
Such an interesting build here from Bjergsen too, because he was laning against the attack damage, physical damage carry. Going with double shields, he'll have the Zhonya's active available for him for defense, plus the Seraph's Embrace shield. So we'll see how dangerously he plays the next team fight, since he has so many shields to rely on. He can actually play pretty aggressively.
Now both teams trying to feel each other out. TSM looks like they want to try and write a story of a Baron fight. LMQ's just on the outside here. We've seen what XiaoWeiXiao can do. He's not afraid to go into 4v1. Baron attempt. More getting caught out another time in this game. He is going to be going down. No! That wind wall finally goes down to the end. Somebody finds the hit. It's the clockwork wind-up passive coming in for Bjergsen. They're still in and out. There's not much vision. You can see Vasilii just placing the ward. So TSM was kind of playing the fog of war game right there to get themselves a kill.
Yeah, and then Amazing traps XiaoWeiXiao in a cage where he's unable to escape. Whoa, he finds a little bit of answer there for himself, though.
Some pretty big damage from XiaoWeiXiao right now. Amazing's forced to back. Doesn't absolutely mean Baron. They don't have more, so everybody else is going to back, but they cannot leave it completely open. You see Ackerman making sure that everything's clear. He sweeps out a ward onto Baron. Vasilii's going to push mid so they can have vision farther in, because right now a lot of the LMQ deep wards have kind of fizzled out and been cleared. See TSM can get themselves back into this one. They're up 3,000 gold, but they've lost 4 members in one of the last fights. TSM, rather Amazing getting pushed out in that last engage from XiaoWeiXiao. If LMQ can keep finding these little picks, the turrets aren't going to be a problem for them when they get there.
Yeah, LMQ's strength that they had 10 minutes ago is still there. XiaoWeiXiao on Yasuo. He's got 300 CS. He's almost working on the 3rd item for the Trinity, the all-important Trinity of Yasuo items. Infinity Edge, Static Ship, and Vork. So he is still a strong split pusher, even though overall LMQ have less gold. XiaoWeiXiao can make it happen if he is isolated versus someone. He doesn't have teleport though, since he's the mid laner, not running with it. Plus hitting level 16. He's got a pretty strong boost here. Let's see if they try and separate him and force TSM to make a call to deal with him.
Well, Dyrus just cleared bottom lane.
10
so they
seconds,
can
Dragon.
stick in mid. Yep, 10 seconds is Dragon. Vision is really no one's right now. You can see the sweepers going down. LMQ's there. They've placed all the forward wards. Great standard coming in from Amazing. Gives them a bit of vision. You can see him push forward now. Pressure's on.
NoName in a great flank behind.
Oh, he keeps the entire team on the backside, and then he flag tosses out. What a fight from Team Solo Mid. The Calling's gonna start pushing them back. Amazing to start this one off. Dyrus gets a quick bump, and the Ardent Blaze does not catch. But for Team Solo Mid to come out strong on that one, taking out NoName gives them a big lead here. LMQ now reassessing the fight. Low mana for Ackerman. XiaoWeiXiao looks like he go in strong, but does not have the chance to.
What a job by Amazing. He's got full tank build, so he's mostly utility Jarvan. Plays it perfectly with the Cataclysm, and then jumping back out to corral this LMQ team. Whoa!
Very close.
Yeah, Turtle given just as good as he gets.
Turtle's been a little crazy lately as well. We can remember his last Corky game, Valkyrying over a blue wall to face a 2v1 situation and come out alive. He's not afraid of being aggressive. Let's take one more look at this.
So NoName comes in, separated from the whole team, 3-man Cataclysm, flag drag combo out, double knockups on the NoName. Just gets bounced around. Turtle actually backs off there while Dyrus and I believe Gleeb continue that aggression, and they don't actually get another kill, but they do get the dragon because they killed the jungler. So they knew they had smite advantage. NoName not on the field, so Amazing follows up his good Jarvan play with a good smite, securing some more gold to tack on to the global lead for TSM.
Finally using that to get some kills for themselves, coming out very big on that fight. It looks like that 5,000 gold lead is going to be what they need to start finishing a lot of those core items. The Infinity Edge, that Rabadon's build for Dyrus has been up there quite a while, but that Void Staff now coming in.
And I like that TSM are not just tunneling on items for combat either. They've got 4 sweepers now. They've got 3 members with pink wards. They're keeping that extra spot for everybody except for Turtle, so they can have some sort of ward. Amazing, starting it off on XiaoWeiXiao.
Very different attack. XiaoWeiXiao being able to just do whatever he wants. That crowd control for Team Solo Mid has been very big. Without Cataclysm, they are losing this one. It's pure chaos. Ackerman even jumps in. Vasilii flashes forward in the fight. Wow, Turtle can put out big damage, but can he to 3 more members? Play the fruitcake. He gets a double kill. Wild Turtle with the orb walk comes out huge. Vasilii's already flashed. He's already rocket jumped, but he could go down here. Slowed down by Dyrus, and he's gonna take the high road. Just a few shots for Wild Turtle. He's getting all tripped up with the minions. He misses the Ardent Blaze. It's going to be a few more shots, but it's the long walk. LMQ's not going to be able to finalize anything off of this. They're forced to just now push the waves.
Always fun to watch those little duels. Wild Turtle able to answer back too, but that was really TSM trying to salvage something from a horrible, horrible situation for them. Dyrus again, this time around, he only got 1 person with ult again. I think it was more second time around. Gotta aim those a little bit. Let's take a look here. So they start off on XiaoWeiXiao. Bjergsen doesn't get time to use his Zanyas. Keep a close eye on Bjergsen here. He gets taken down to half, then knocked up, chained into Yasuo ult, and dies before he hits the floor. At that point, it's a TSM on the run here, and they think they've got Turtle behind. But what an answer here in the duel. Using that Blade of the Ruined King build. Barely getting out of range of the Yasuo ultimate. And as we know how that long chase ends.
Going down right away. Great plays coming in from LMQ. TSM, though, you can see they're still headstrong. They want these engagements, and they've been going quite well for them. They're able to kind of repair that with some Wild Turtle kills coming out. We'll see if they can do it once again. The mid lane was really just the central of that fight, just going down. Very odd to see teams just pull out a mid lane fight this far.
Yeah, I think that one really highlighted Dyrus. He's gotten this full AP build for Gragas. All right, here, Baron almost dead though.
Oh my gosh! What a death sentence! Amazing, had no idea how to get over the wall after that one.
Yeah, there was a pink ward in that bush, so he knew they had vision, and good job by Moore lining up his hook straight with Amazing, not letting him into the Baron pit. Very good pickup for LMQ. Even though they're behind in gold, they do have the pressure once again. See if they actually overreach though, because as we said, the extra gold from this lead here of global gold from TSM, manifesting itself in some very core items. Yeah, had vision, so he's got an easy line to throw his hook, and just for good measure, flays him back afterwards.
What a play coming in for more. Whether he's on Morgana, whether he's on Thresh, he's always doing a few things to put the team back in the lead. Ackerman clearing out pink wards. Baron ticking on LMQ. They kind of have a sigh of relief, but are still ready to put the pedal to the metal as they come out of base. We know LMQ is a team to never stop fighting.
Yeah, this man on the screen right now, though, Dyrus, gonna have to make those ultis count. As we said, full AP build here so far. Not as much cooldown reduction as the tank Bruiser Gragas, and also obviously can't sustain as much damage, so
yeah,
he's got to make those couple of spells count.
These are pretty long fights. So, like you're saying, Kobe, that matters even more. Figure all the stats that can be added to somebody. We saw it happen to NoName, put on the locket, Ackerman's wild growth throughout that last fight, and they are gigantic. Causes a lot of chaos throughout the fight.
LMQ grouping up here with an Ackerman split push, 4-1. Actually gonna wait for the red buff here. Silly. Almost hit that level 18 max range Tristana. Finally coming into his own here.
Got it.
Steal on the way out. And Amazing has had some very flashy plays. Definitely improved his Jarvan play from last time.
Yeah.
Deserves some props there for putting in
Champion
work.
pool altogether. Absolutely.
Dragon's up though, and that should be LMQ because they've been able to scrub most of the vision off the map. Even though TSM have this one lonely ward,
right,
they can't get through their own blue jungle to try and contest. Because the Baroned up squad of LMQ running interference, able to keep them off. And that's almost enough to bring LMQ back to even. Very close now.
Got about a minute and a half left on Baron coming in for LMQ. Slow rolling onto the base.
Basically the max effectiveness of XiaoWeiXiao as well. Like we said, that trinity of Yasuo items has been completed, and he's even got his defensive Banshee's Veil on top of it. It's about as strong as you get with Yasuo. You can add one more item.
That barrel just disappeared in the wind.
Yeah, you can block Gragas' ultimate as well. So we'll be looking at quick timings from those wind walls.
TSM up in gold, defending in their base. Last time these teams played, 43-52 was the end of the game. And that was with that 43-35 LMQ taking the inhibitor. So it was straight for the win after they got into the base. This time, Team Solo Mids holding strong, up in gold, and they have been able to get a few kills in these fights. But is it going to be enough? LMQ with another Baron attempt could be all they need to push to the last final defense.
Yeah, this last Baron was crucial because it not only brought their gold levels back up, but it got them the level 18 Trist.
Yeah.
This is really what LMQ have been working towards pretty much the whole game. As Yasuo starts to cap out, Trist will just overtake everybody in the whole game. As soon as he can make that Infinity Edge completed here, huge boost for LMQ because he already has Phantom Dancer and Last Whisper. There it is, the 4-item Trist with max range.
Right.
All LMQ have to do now is play the team fight fairly safe because nobody's going to outdamage Vasilii from the back line.
Right. And with this kind of stall out, why? Well, Baron could be coming up, I say, 2 or 3 minutes, I should think. Vasilii not split pushing again. They've kind of organized it together. Is it because Amazing's initiates have just been so on point?
Careful here. Flank around from NoName. Once again, this is the fight they want. They've got the Trist items.
Got to be able to get it. Wild Growth goes in. That's what we were looking for last time again. Culling goes out. He flashes the wall. Doesn't finish the passive shots. He actually walks it off. Ackerman's going to take a piercing light. Kill. Not going in as he flashes away. Turtle way too close to the fight. Vasilii dives in. He's going to get hit up by some Nami damage, but it's not going to be enough to really deter anything. The kill on to WildTurtle. LMQ starts to clear out.
Rough fight for Turtle there. He flashes over to try and finish off Evelyn. Doesn't get the last double hit onto NoName to kill him. And then on his way, working his way back to the fight, he gets cut off. All right, there's the knock up into Yasuo ult, and immediately so much damage from TSM, as you can see, force him out. But he doesn't get the kill, and then trying to come back around here, gets cut off. XiaoWeiXiao goes in with the active Blade of the Ruin King, and Vasilii firing away from the back. Too much damage.
That's what LMQ is waiting for, this late game. Like you said, getting the Trist up and built to 18. 4-1 and 4 for Vasilii. First play coming in on Tristana, and he is making it work. And seems like his aggression has come out a little more on Tristana too. Maybe the safety of Buster Shot once you do get to your target makes it feel a little safer.
Yeah, we haven't seen that complexity Trist plus Yasuo quite yet.
Yeah.
But they've been relying on the safer
Trist set.
The safer knockups. Good Lulu ultimate in the last one. I don't think at this point they want to risk one of the Tristana all-in Buster Shot combos, so they'll keep Vasilii safe and siege up at the turret.
Still could get a nice Cataclysm Command Shockwave combo coming in from Team Solo Mid. LMQ pressuring this turret, and TSM, you'd be worried.
A bonus of Dyrus going this full AP build for his top lane Gragas is that they do have really substantial wave clear on TSM. They can buy time. They've got Orianna, they've got Gragas, plenty of AoE magic.
You also aren't finding too much magic resistance coming out of LMQ. Amazing! The one to be hooked again, played out of another. Flag and drag by Moore.
Purely a Moore highlight reel right there. Perfect hook, perfect flay. And they get the kill for it right when they needed it. Great vision control, and TSM don't contest. They try and shove up mid. It's a pretty good call because they don't want to face check the Baron, but it's even with the right call, they don't have the minions to make the push. And all they get is a red buff for their troubles.
What hooks by Moore. LMQ is making this work. TSM amazing. He's one of the tankiest guys on the team. He's going to be the one checking wards. It's something you got to do. They were even in a buddy system, but Moore is just threading the needle and hitting the flays when they need to be hit. 2 out of 5 dragons, both Barons going over to LMQ now. And if they even want to, in 40 seconds, they can take the next dragon probably.
Well, they can get this turret, that's for sure. Everybody in position already. Splitting up here, sending XiaoWeiXiao to do his split push work at mid. Keeping the 4-man squad safe here. There's so much that LMQ can use to keep people off of Vasilii in the backline with both Lulu and Thresh. They have a very good disengage for the 4-man squad that can buy time for XiaoWeiXiao split.
He's starting to build up a bit of defense. Looks like bottom lane's going to be pushed out quite well. LMQ is just waiting, biding their time now. Back with Baron, back with the full built-up stats, and only a few more turrets to take out. TSM, they've definitely proved difficult getting into the base, making that a very hard task for LMQ to get in.
Yep, pretty much they just have to watch out for the game-changing shockwave from TSM.
Still haven't really seen one.
Yep, TSM still have that chance. If they can get a very good shockwave grouping people up, they can rack up all members of LMQ, bowling pins, and then Dyrus will knock them down with his ulti. But that would require LMQ grouping up, and they do not look like they want to play into that strategy for TSM.
Right. Multiple times LMQ, we've seen them just be able to disperse a fight that you want to have them balled up right in the middle.
As long as they spread out for that team fight, keep Vasilii away from XiaoWeiXiao. Should have the advantage here. Again though, wave clear from these dual AP solo laners is massive.
Yep.
Not to mention if they get really into a bad spot, they've always got the culling to rely on.
The hard freeze in mid. There we go. 46 on the clock. This one's definitely getting up there. We've already passed the previous time that these two teams face off at.
And I think this game is really important for LMQ. They're showing people that they can play more controlled games than people have been giving them credit for. A lot of the teams have been saying, yeah, LMQ falling off after the strong early showing. But they had a very controlled early game, and their late game here is shaping up quite nicely, working well with this end game Tristana.
It looks like they're starting to make some moves too. finally. Getting a little bit of pressure on the game. Good wards coming out from Team Solo mid. Keeping their vision up.
Oh,
whoa! Finds a hole in the turtle shell. Great shot coming from Vasilii there. Looks like they have a wave quite far off. So really, they're just kind of stalemated for a moment. Looks like bottom lane will be pushed out by XiaoWeiXiao to get the split push continued. Top lane's also in that spot to have as well.
Yeah, LMQ definitely taking their time. They don't want to have to funnel in through the small opening of the inhibitor turret pathway there.
This is like let's super make sure we don't make any mistakes. They're really taking this one slow and steady.
Was a good job by Turtle though. Instant culling to buy himself time to back and heal up. Very low cooldown on that, so he will have it for the next fight.
Lichbane on to Ackerman. Finally, these guys are really starting to sort out the items. We got mostly 5 items around the map. That means turrets are going to be going down a little bit faster with his auto attacks after the abilities, as well as Vasilii from that long range just throwing on the rapid fire. $78,000 to 73. It's 5K. It's what LMQ is working with right now. That's why it looks so scary to get inside the base.
Yeah. Remember, at this stage, level 18 Tristana has a 703 range. Oh. Good disengage. The only... Oh, the hook on the Gleeb!
There's the ultimate coming in. That was a little back and forth. LMQ didn't exactly want the full initiation. Great damage coming in. Where it was activated on the Yobus. WildTurtle coming up big with a kill. The Cataclysm just misses on the flash out from XiaoWeiXiao. He was very low, but Team Solo mid do defend the base. But that inhibitor turret is in shambles.
Turtle just dumping out damage here. Two members on the chase here. Takes down XiaoWeiXiao so low, and then Ackerman gets destroyed. One combo. What a lantern, as amazing as Tran.
I don't think I've ever seen that interaction. Pretty funny. 80,000 gold, still a 5,000 gold lead for LMQ. A minute and a half on to Baron, looking better for Team Solo mid to really get an impact on that. We've always mentioned the Gragas red side. A lot of people say Gragas red side, watch out for the Baron. It's not the huge damage you still used to get out of him, but it's still enough to really cause chaos in that Baron pit.
Yeah, you know, especially since he's built that full AP.
Right.
It's really dangerous with the Orianna plus Gragas combo. Even if they don't manage to steal Baron, they can destroy pretty much everybody else who's balled up inside. Said that LMQ don't want to group up during a team fight. They get inside that pit, could be very dangerous for them. That being said, you know, they got the main objective of that last Baron push. They got down the inhibitor turret in the bottom lane. That was what they were working so hard towards. So it was a very big success for LMQ, even though they lost Ackerman in the process.
Items getting built up. Take a look at the supports. It would be our first in North America. Gleeb throwing out the Ardent Sensor. He's going to have that. Help the team out. Whoa, Amazing goes to the back line. NoName is the first one in, but that's not the wild growth they wanted, possibly. Great shots by Vasilii's range to tape out Gleeb. WildTurtle gets hit up immediately. That's the shockwave they may have been looking for. Vasilie's forced to jump out of the fight. Where's Turtle's damage? It's gone. 70 seconds on the clock for him, 60 seconds for more, but that's 2 TSM members down. LMQ is still very low coming out of that fight, so very neck and neck.
Bold move there by Vasilii to go in, take advantage of the small window in between cooldowns. Gets the kill and the reset to hop back out. Whew, very big play for them.
Big thing that nobody came out strong enough to do Baron.
This positioning here from Turtle. It's up to Turtle to do a lot of the damage for the team, so he has to be up front here, but he gets caught by the XiaoWeiXiao, has to burn everything to jump out. Hop in, flash, and then reset to hop out just in time. Amazing's cooldown came back up for that flag and drag. 3-man defense here, plenty of AoE magic.
Playing with fire right now. Oh my gosh, Ackerman's so low, almost gets taken down by Amazing. Bjergsen on the outside with a few shots, but they just bait him in. Now 70 seconds on the smite to come out. Dyrus is the only hope here.
Can he do it? Nope.
That was very close, though. Good smite by NoName. Third Baron of 3 going over to LMQ. 51 minutes in.
And did you know, Riv, that nowadays if you leave that barrel from Gragas on the ground, it will actually ferment and do more damage.
Yeah.
as it lays there.
It's all stinky. You see that happen when they do blue in the early game.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that does good damage to the little guys. It's very nice. Little changes to the quality of life.
You don't usually get to see that actually have an effect, but on stationary targets like Baron or a blue buff.
You're always just popping it. Nobody's going to stand still. 15 to 15. That's pretty close. But the gold, that is telling a different story. 7 to 4 as well in turrets. The map control just being squandered out here on the side of TSM. LMQ finding what they want. They finally got into the outer ring of inhibitor turrets with the bottom one down. So where else should they be? Now with Baron for the third time, they're going to put some pressure in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they got what they want all right. A max item Tristana. It's pretty much what every team would like. Vasilii has got full power, all 3 buffs as well. The only thing he's missing are the dual elixirs.
Yeah. Drink them all. So we still have the wave clear. Oh my gosh, Bjergsen gets caught up. This is the focus now. Do they wait for Bjergsen? Do they keep going in the fight? He does not get popped up again.
Good shot,
another hook! One after the other. More coming up so big this game. Like you said, Kobe, a highlight reel over and over again for them. LMQ now going to run amok in TSM's base.
Yep, second inhibitor turret going down. Second inhibitor. They could finish the game after this push. See if TSM can do a 4-man defense here.
You got 70 seconds on those death chambers, Kobe. It is very hard to even want to go into fight knowing Bjergsen's down. This isn't a retribution kill. This is a going for broke attempt right now for Team Solo Mid, and you can even see they may not be able to cash these jacks.
Yep. Amazing's combo is also down now, so LMQ don't even have to worry about the Cataclysm.
LMQ just going back and forth. 30 gold. Vasilii almost gets it. Ah, 26 gold. He does. He does. More getting everything the team needs right now. They slowly push into the Nexus turrets. The last 2 standing. Dyrus gets taken down. And it looks like it's going to be the jumping from Vasilii trying to explode. That's the combo of Tristana into Yasuo. They were ready for it that time. They wipe out Team Solo Mid. Amazing tries to do a little bit of a flag and drag back into the game. Ackerman on the turret, and it's going to be LMQ taking down Team Solo Mid 2 times in a row now in the summer split at 54 minutes.
Well played by LMQ. The deadliest spoon I've ever seen this time around.
Yeah.
Max item Trist, they effectively got there.
They can see them. They're communicating like they were talking about their mistakes as well. That's not one of those let's get up and hug. That's one of those let's get up, relax, sigh of relief games. All in all, it was a well-played game because LMQ kept in mind what they were going to do. They had a tryst for late game. I think they went for late game in 54 minutes. They knew what they had to do. They kept the priorities in order.
Especially more. Great hook coming out from him.
Wow. Good call.
All these guys really enjoy playing against each other as well. Bjergsen and XiaoWeiXiao, who are both looking forward to this game. Vasilii giving Turtle a hug as well.
Yeah. Vasilii giving the fans some aggression, too. Definitely.
Both 80 carries.
Going hard
We're
in this
making
game.
solo plays.
Yeah. Solo plays indeed. Vasilii, first time on Tryst, jumping around saying, "King me," after a few plays, getting all the resets that he needed. You can see the rest of the team playing quite well. The first time we're actually able to see like a Lulu Gragas top lane. Obviously, it's not going to be Kale getting banned out every game, but Gragas faring quite well on, like you said, what most top laners just kind of say, Lulu is annoying in this matchup. The glitter lance, the auto attacks. Dyrus, again, played consistent, but the whole team couldn't come together for TSM this time. LMQ was really putting their foot down.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't actually have the impact that they really wanted for that. A couple of times only ulting more. Not exactly what TSM were looking for, and is these small things in those team fights that turned it against TSM. Close game. Pretty close game there for a while.
You look back and you kind of got the same result out of when Ackerman played it, right? It wasn't super impactful. It could throw some people around in fights, but it didn't change the game. So we got to see what people can keep doing. Still, obviously, loved in other regions of gameplay, and they're playing it up to the wins in both columns.
People still haven't settled on a consistent build for Gragas.
That's true.
Dyrus opting with something different this time around.
Everybody thinks they're right in the beginning when a new patch comes out. To break down LMQ's victory, let's send it over to Freak and Jat at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. This time we are joined by just ourselves because I just like your company so much. I don't want to share you.
Yeah, we can break down this game a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So start with picks and bans then. Kind of interesting setup. So basically, first pick Lulu for LMQ, a champion. No one's really surprised to get first pick there for the top lane. Also, Nami Lucian getting picked early on for TSM. And ultimately, LMQ comes out with a pretty Yasuo-based comp. Right? You've got 3 people who can help Yasuo get knockups: Thresh, Tristana, and the top lane Lulu as well.
Yeah, and it was actually a really long time into the game before they were able to get that. But as far as picks and bans just go, it's a little bit funny how when the Lulu was first picked, especially with 2 jungle bans, no one prioritized the Evelynn, really. LMQ ended up sneaking that on the backside, and it's not like Amazing's had big-time performances on Jarvan yet. He did a little bit better this game, but it still looked a little bit lackluster overall.
It's weird because the champions picked here, like the top lane mages that are grabbed, the new Gragas and Lulu, they're not the same level of threat as people like Yasuo, Tristana, Lucian, Kayle. Like, they're kind of both 2.5 threat teams is the weird thing, where you can really just say if you kill the 2 backline squishies, which is Bjergsen WildTurtle or XiaoWeiXiao and Vasilii, you kind of remove the damage output there. It's not old Gragas, and Lulu never had that kind of burst damage. And so you were back to these sort of 2 threat teams where like the tanks dive in, you're like, okay, but where's the follow-up? And oftentimes there wasn't much.
Yeah, not to mention the really mobile composition that LMQ had, which made shockwaves very difficult to land for Bjergsen. But even with all that, TSM had a pretty good advantage early. And we're going to show a few clips about how they got there.
Yeah, so we can pull up the first replay we have, actually. One of a couple of clips here. This is one of the mid lane fights. Actually, this might be one that
This was the turnaround, actually. So this is the moment where TSM had a pretty big lead, but then the initiation goes really wrong, combined with the fact that this is the first time LMQ got the initiation we wanted. I mean, we had that whole pregame about XiaoWeiXiao actually aggressing up against Bjergsen. This was the first time we really got to see the impacts of it.
All right, so you come in on this fight, and really amazing over dives, and he's tanky, and as you talked about, TSM being ahead.
We can roll this clip.
Yeah, we can go ahead and roll it right here. But TSM, they still feel like they're ahead. They feel like there's enough follow. They've got some burst there. But the problem is, like, this is like great dodging by XiaoWeiXiao. It gets around from everything. The wind wall separates it, and they're able to reach, like, finally, the flash jump in, the knockup from Lulu. They finally reach the back line, and there's no damage left afterwards.
And it was a very missed ultimate by Dyrus as well, which ended up allowing LMQ to really jump on. If it wasn't for the spectacular play of Turtle right here, it would have been a complete landslide. He just dodged out so many spells and ended up making this a delayed 3-for-2 instead of what should have basically been a 3-for-0.
Yeah, and honestly, WildTurtle did a very great job early in mid-game there. And of course, his individual plays have all been awesome, and he did one of the standard Lucian builds of Ruin King Youmu's, and that's fine. He itemized weird afterwards. I think we'll get to that point later because we're still going to talk about the team comps for a bit, but we will touch on TSM's item choices later on because those guys suspect.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about this game is how you and I were talking about it. It was very swingy in multiple directions because we just had a whole bunch of glass cannons in this game. Every item the Turtle built until he sold his Youmu's for a Randwins was offensive. So we saw him blowing up Ackerman in about half a second. But then, if he makes one small mistake, he gets 2-shot or 1-shot by Vasilii or XiaoWeiXiao. So it really created a place, even though LMQ had a much stronger late game composition, because everyone was so glass cannon, it made it so TSM would have small opportunities to turn.
Sure, if you make any individual misplay, if you miss your wind wall, if you don't land the hook, you don't lantern out, Shockwave means you die. And it's one of the tricky things when you can kind of pair the champions as well, where you've got XiaoWeiXiao and Yasuo, who has to be so particular about the fights he goes for. And I know we talked about the fact that LMQ weren't finding their way in a lot of times. Like, you can flash in with Evelynn, hit a Lulu ulti, and just go in. Like, you can just choose to start a fight, and you're going to get somebody with that almost for sure. You can Tristan ult the Jarvan, and you can jump off that. The fact that LMQ didn't go in was, one, good play by TSM, and two, not just going in for no reason. Right? XiaoWeiXiao is an incredibly smart player, an incredibly good one overall, and the fact that he's like, I'm going to wait till we find the right targets, play defensively, wind wall some of the sieges, hope we find our way in. A little bit like Complexity's win over C9, where they would wait for the right targets in a lot of these cases, right? Once they hit the backline, they'd go in. And just being able to temper that aggression until the right time was, I think, a very good mark for them. And then they did find the right targets, right? You saw them catch up Bjergsen or catch up WildTurtle, and then you saw how explosive it was when they could hit the right targets.
Yeah, I agree with that. We have another clip as well
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, we pull up our second replay. This is another one of the great fights for LMQ. I think this one might be them getting Turtle. I forget if exactly what happened.
Yeah, this was an incredibly close fight. This was basically where NoName came in from the back flank, and for a moment it looked like TSM was going to be turning this. If we could actually roll this clip a little slowly as the initiation happens. Notice how Bjergsen got his Zhonya's before XiaoWeiXiao came in, so he was effectively safe in here. And this is actually an opportunity for TSM to turn the game around. WildTurtle just missed out half an auto attack on a NoName. And there were so many people in this fight that if a few minuscule things went better for WildTurtle, it would have been okay. He missed by one auto attack on 2 separate kills, which allowed LMQ to close in on that one and gain even more of a stronghold.
Yeah.
With the swinginess of these fights, so much could have happened in this game with TSM plays a little bit crisper in a few spots, and they actually are the ones winning this game because the gold was at a point where it was seemingly like the Lucian and the Orianna against the
Yasuo
Trist, exactly, because Gragas and Lulu actually ended up being somewhat supportive. I never saw those great ultimates by Gragas.
No, not really. You never saw the real big setups there.
So much of it was because of the incredible mobility of the LMQ composition. We talked about it a little bit. They had the flank ability in their team comp because the only way they want to play this is with Eve coming back from behind. Yasuo flies in by himself. Trist is spaced as well. Thresh is somewhere on the side.
Yeah.
No way when they're doing their optimal team fight are they in place for a multi-man shockwave.
Yeah, none of the 2 threats are ever going to be in the same place. Like, they're just going to make sure that never happens. That's good on by LMQ. I do want to follow up. You were talking about if little things went better. I want to get to the TSM itemization point. Because Bjergsen was at 4 items, still no Void Staff. WildTurtle was at 4 items. Like, he bought Trinity Force 4th item. And to be honest, Trinity Force is a good 2nd item. It is a power spike item to say, like, I have BT Triforce or Ruin King Triforce, and the base damage is high enough because the proc damage barely scales at that point that you can bully people out because your 2 items are better than their 2 items. Like, you will spike above, like, Eye-Edge Zeal will be inferior to, like, Ruin King Yomu's or to, like, Bloodthirster Triforce. But once you've got Infinity Edge and Yomu's Ghost Blade and things like that, like, buy a Phantom Dancer, buy a Last Whisper, get 60% crit chance, get a bunch of Armor Pen, and then destroy people. And so you saw in the team fight that we saw a second ago, right? WildTurtle gets guys to, like, 1/3 health, and it's like, man, if you had crit one more time, he was dead. And time and again, he's missing that just barely. And that's when you make a mistake in itemization, that's what happens. Now, these players are very good, but they're new to the patch, and not everyone spends 7 hours doing math like I do. And so not everyone's going to know right away, like, hey, don't build late Triforce, because the value of crit when you have IE is so high. Buying a 3,700 gold item with 10% crit is a waste of money.
Yeah, it definitely felt a little bit like they got trapped into their item builds. They wanted the Morellonomicon with the Tears, so he finished that, and then he got his Death Cap before his Void Staff. They had difficult trade-offs in the AP spectrum as well. But for LMQ, you know, with that victory, they have tough schedule next week as well. They face CLG and I believe Cloud9. I'll have to double check on that. But it's going to be really interesting to see how they move into next week.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it, of course. And it's a 4-game week next week as well, so a lot of prep required for everybody. Now, guys, we're going to take a quick break while the teams load in for our next battle, which is Counter Logic Gaming versus Dignitas. So don't touch that mouse. We'll be right back.
I have a bowl full of Diet Coke and I'm on a diet. Dyrus, give me a rapper, dude.
He gets himself out alive. We see Vasilii already going down. WildTurtle's into the fight now, flying straight in, and it looks like he's going to be getting another kill. XiaoWeiXiao going down by the hands of Gleeb. Ackerman even jumps in. Vasilii flashes forward in the fight. WildTurtle can put out big damage, but can he do 3 more? He gets the double kill.
Everyone's here. I'm gonna flash out. We can win this. We can win this. Eve. He's coming for Eve. Look at Yasuo. Looking at Yasuo. I'm ulting. Yes. Ackerman. Hey, back turtle. I'm shielding turtle. WeiXiao.
We still have the wave clear. Oh my gosh, Bjergsen gets caught up. This is the focus now. Do they wait for Bjergsen? Do they keep going in the fight? He does not get popped up again. Another hook! One after the other!